Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production. Each of us runs a different pace in life.
As a millennial or someone coming of age into adulthood, it's just a lot of things to process, and a lot of things that you want can't happen now because a lot of things are
in love, friendships, and our own self-worth. As we embark on these journeys, we hold the hope to learn a little more each day.
Why can't I have whatever they have? And oftentimes I find myself comparing my progress, comparing what I have with other people, even like in the slyest way. It seems like it's
as we survive and strive to be stronger.
You are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything. Anything that you put out in the table won't be used against you.
So I'd like to welcome you all to love, growth, and freedom.
The different kinds of love that we could see in this world, and on the idea of how love is crazy and how love has different meanings for all of us.
A podcast that believes in love, inspires growth, and advocates freedom. Let me be your friend, your guide, as we all ride the crazy adventure called life. Powered by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.
Alright, so welcome back to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. Hi guys, welcome back to my latest episode of today of Love, Growth, and Freedom. It's Maybe You're Not Meant to Fit In. And today I do have a wonderful guest to come along with us. She is Shari Narciso of the Pechay Show. And this show is one of the fun ones to listen to because they talk about so many things. They talk about sexual awakening. They talk about embracing your sexuality. And maybe that's what has drawn me to have Shari here over at Love, Growth, and Freedom to talk about not fitting in, because some of the things that we all would talk about, sexuality and being someone who's educated in that area and sense, is kind of taboo in this country. And I love talking about that, and I love being able to see women embracing their own sexuality, empowering women all at the same time with embracing who they are and what they could be, not faltering and wavering to the idea of men in the world that sexuality is just for men and whatsoever. I really just do appreciate how they're putting and being pioneers of that idea of embracing sexuality and seeing it as not such a bad thing. It's really more of being educated and having knowledge in the things that we do. So yeah, today I got her to talk about that, and I would love to go deeper into that idea of maybe we're not meant to fit in. This is a question that I always see and ask, and that it's rampant in Facebook, that we're not everybody's favorite people. We're not someone who's like that. Nobody truly understands us. Nobody truly gets us. And I guess we will never have that. Maybe we will never have someone who will truly understand us, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be alone in all of this. The human mind is a complex thing. We are all complex people. We have different vocabularies, things that define the things that happen to us in life and whatsoever. But yeah, even though that's that, no one will ever truly understand us. No, I guess not. I don't think so. But it doesn't mean that we have to go through it alone. It doesn't mean that we're left for dead and to understand all those things about us and to just be an outcast forever. So yeah, we all have to understand that each and every one of us have internal battles we have to fight, and that even though nobody can understand and hear what we try to say truly and genuinely and fully, it doesn't mean that it doesn't go to them. It doesn't mean that they cannot empathize, sympathize, and just simply be with you in those experiences of your life. So what I'd like for us to remember is that maybe we're just not meant to fit in. Maybe we're not supposed to be in a box, belonging to some box and stereotype, so that we could all just be happy and singing la 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 and kumbaya together, just being the same thing, not being sheep. We are not meant to be sheeps. We are meant to be great. We are all meant to be amazing, to create things. We're all that. So why do we want to fit in? Why would you want to be fitting in, just being part of the whole general population and just all that? I don't know. I'd love this episode to be something that you would listen to and be like, yes, I want to stand out. I want to stand out and belong to a community that values that difference, that, values that complexity of me being a person and whatsoever. So, let's go down to the question, will we ever fit in? Will we ever be a part of something bigger and just fit in and, like, function very well? I don't think so. No, you can never fit in because maybe what you want will not be what he wants or she wants. It's not going to be all the same thing for all of us, but this one common denominator for all of us in this idea is that we do want to belong. We want to have a community that understands that each and every one of us have different views, different ideas, different whatever, will be accepted lovingly and kindly, as long as it's not harmful, as long as it's not something that steps on boundaries of human life and the likes. So you can belong. Fitting in isn't bad or anything, but maybe we're not meant to be boxed at all. Maybe we're all supposed to celebrate our differences and our charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to just let it be. You don't force anyone to follow one path that you think is right. Maybe that path isn't right for them too. So as long as you don't harm, you can be as crazy, creative, assertive as you can and belong with people who truly accepts you. I think we all should foster a community that, that allows creativity to flourish and allows each and every one of us to express who we are and still be accepted. As long as it's, again, not in any bounds trying to harm anyone, as long as it's just really purely in that side of understanding of who you are and becoming that person you're meant to be. So yeah, why don't we just stand out? Why don't we stand out? Let all these different things about us, the commonalities that we share, shine the light to become the better us. Maybe we all should stand out as each and every person and have the common denominator of wanting to belong and fit in as something that would push us to accept people, even though how crazy they express themselves, even though how crazy things are that you see or in your perspective. Because, bringing everyone with you, this is all something that I'd want to push, a spirit of cooperation, a spirit of fostering relationships with the people around you, no matter how different they are. And maybe they could bring in new perspectives for you to see. So open your minds, open your hearts to the people that share the same things with you, and also those people who share the different and complex things about the things that you like. And maybe you'd find a smaller or a middle ground for each and every one of you and develop a real good relationship with that. So let's bring everyone with us. Bringing everyone with you means you let the people around you shine the way they should. You're not there to dull their moment, dull their shine, but you're there to encourage people to reach their stars, reach their goals and their dreams. I mean, that's one for me. Maybe that's why I don't want to fit in, because I don't want everyone to be just who they are meant to be because of what society says who they're supposed to be. But I want them to be who they're supposed to be because they want to be that way. They want to be that person, and they want to spread that kind of thing in their lives. And who knows? And who does, like, we all have those kinds of things. We all have those dreams. We all have those ideals. And why don't we live by that and find a community, find your people who will support you and uplift you with all these things. So yeah, we don't have to fit in the box. We've all been used to behave and follow the world like it's the only thing we're meant to be. We're all told to follow rules, the society, what it all becomes and brings. That's not how it begins. I don't think that's one thing that you should focus on. And maybe we're really meant to be great. So why don't we become great? Why don't we focus on the things that we like and reach for it? Go if you want to start a podcast, if you want to write, if you want to talk about crazy stuff and show your passions and what you're creative about, go for it. And even though that people won't necessarily like it at first, maybe some would find it off, a bit aloof or whatever, but who cares? if you're putting it out there, you get to have people see it, and people who think like you and people who have common things with you would see that and then feel that they're not alone. So with all of those, no matter how complex and crazy we are, and no matter how much we think that nobody's gonna really truly understand us, that's there's one common thing that puts us all together, is that nobody could understand us except ourselves most. But it doesn't matter because we're all here together. We're all trying to understand ourselves, and we're all finding our path. And that isn't that like something comforting to understand and see that we're all in that journey together. Yeah. So I don't know. I love that kind of thought. Is that what makes us different is what also makes us together, what also connects us, the difference, the creativity, the idea of creating stuff and making a mark on this world is so different from all of us. It varies on how we want to leave a mark, but we're brought by down the same thing, that we want to leave a mark, that we all try to understand ourselves, even though we're all complex and difficult to understand, and that's beautiful, right? So yeah, you may sometimes feel like a lost child. Just know that sometimes you really have to find out about things on your own first before you'd actually communicate it with other people. If you figure out all those things that you want to work on yourself, you're going to be able to build a better relationship outside of your circle and to build your own community, because you're able to communicate what you want, what you feel, and what you think without stepping on others, obviously. But yeah. So before all that, I'd love to thank every single one of you to, to who has been listening to this podcast. You can follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.com.ph, and so many more. I would like to thank you for your support and the love that you give me in all of this. I would like to inform you also that I have partnered with Podmetrics and Lazada, so you could have a link down below in the description box or the episode description that you could check out. I do have High Five, Oxycure High Five hand sanitizer with me. It's a really good and handy sanitizer, size of a card. You can slip it in with your wallet, your cell phone, all together in one pocket because it's slim and very handy to bring. Along with that, I also have other Oxycure products that you could buy in Lazada. I have Acne Clear Potion that there's a link down in the description too. This is one of the products that I could vouch for all the time because it takes away the marks of my pimples and also my live pimples. It helps out, decreasing the size and the pain of whatever that. And I also use their facial liquid cleanser, which is very, very good because it's sensitive and soft and nice. But yeah, those are the things that I have and been buying from Lazada recently. And if you guys want to check out more of Lazada, I got in my mic from Lazada. I got everything from Lazada. I just enjoy it. So I have a link down there below in the description that will lead you to that website. If you're a new user, you would have 100 peso off on your first purchase. It's a voucher that you would get if you are a new user to the Lazada app. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for listening. If you guys would want to hear more of my episodes, click subscribe, and I'll see you again after this break.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. And tonight, I have a very special guest named Shari Narciso of the Pechay Show. So, Shari, hello there.
Hello. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, okay. So, why don't you tell us more about yourself, Shari, before we all begin with our interview proper? Go, go, go.
Okay. Okay, so hi, I'm Shari. And for those of you who don't know yet, I'm one half of the Pechay Show. That's our podcast, which I'm going to talk about later. But I guess about myself, I'm a single mom. I recently came out as bisexual. I enjoy all things that embrace, love, growth, and freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
just to be on brand, um, yeah, I believe that everybody should just be happy. It doesn't matter it does matter how you get it, but
It
after
doesn't matter
seeing,
who you are, right? Like, if you really
yeah,
want to be, if you can just find your happiness on your own
for
or
sure.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't believe in conformity really since I was very young. So um this time in our lives, it's a really great. I mean, all the pandemic things aside, it's a great time, to embrace who you really are. So I'm all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, given the pandemic, it's there's a lot of reflection that we could
Mm.
do as we and then we figure out more of ourselves. And I like what you said. You're all for nonconformity, so this episode
Yeah.
is perfect for you because we're not meant to fit in. We
Oh
believe
yeah.
in that. We believe in breaking stereotypes and
Mm.
breaking the boxes and the barriers and the glass ceiling. And you telling us that you are a single mom, I have so much love for moms, to be honest. I do understand the plight and feel of how it is hard to be actually just a parent at all. And
Yeah.
being a single mom, I just have so much respect for you and I have so much like admiration for people like that. And people like you who stand up to be everything for your children, and it's wonderful. And a little cliff note lang nanonood kasi ako ng Working Moms. I watch Working Moms in
Oh my
Netflix.
god, I love that
I love
show.
that. Oh
I
my
love it so
goodness.
much.
Okay. So Working Moms has been one of my favorites. And amazingly, Catherine
Okay.
Reitman was the writer and she's
Yeah.
also the actress, the star of the show.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's amazing.
I know, right?
Love
So,
it.
so I love how they humanize moms there because we
Yeah.
don't see how
It's
moms
closer to reality really
exactly. We don't
than
see
the
how
other shows.
moms struggle. Yeah. Diba?
Yeah.
They're not showing step forward wives who are having it
Mm.
nicely, who does yoga and just get their coffee and whatever. It's
Yes.
really woman empowerment who fights,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sorry, all about that. I'm all about all those things, really. So, could you tell us more about your podcast? Like, how did you start doing your podcast, and why? And what would listeners take away from your podcast? Go.
Okay, so our podcast, the Pechay Show, it's kind of the baby of this quarantine. We never really have, as of now, we don't have one single episode that we recorded together. Everything is via Zoom.
Oh,
So, it's kind of, it started as like a passion project between friends. We
mhm.
really just wanted to, let's do something fun and creative because we have this, both of us have these jobs that are kind of not creative in nature, and
Mhm.
we just needed an outlet basically to let all of those juices out. And we tried a few niches before, but none of them stuck because I don't think they were our vibe or voice or anything. So
Yeah.
when we decided to talk about relationships in general. That
Yeah.
was the initial plan, but then with the title, so it kind of denotes sex immediately.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. And it's just so natural. We don't have outlines, we don't have scripts or whatever. We just have the topic and it just goes on, and whatever gets edited out is very minimal. um
Yeah.
it's very, you know we wanted to be a kind of a casual, almost comedic show at first.
Yeah.
But then we started to talk to these people. Na some of them we know in real life, some are total strangers. And it's amazing that people either relate to you or they want to learn more about what you said. So it was I think halfway through the first season we realized that there's so much potential for this. And if we could kind of spread the word a little bit more. Maybe
Yeah.
that's our little part in this whole thing. Na, kasi it's not a secret. We live in a country that's very conservative and
Yeah. In
traditional.
immensely
Diba?
conservative. Yeah. Yeah.
To
Who
say the
believes so
least.
much in virginity and
Oh
everything.
my god. Well, our first episode is about sex before marriage. So we really put that out there.
I know. I
So,
can sexify. Yeah, you know how everybody scares us to not do premarital sex. Oh my god,
it's
studying in
so
a Catholic school and you're like
yeah.
condemned for the.
Mm,
I understand. I understand the whole thing.
yeah.
Okay,
And
then
it's funny because both of us, we studied in super Catholic schools since like kindergarten
I
till
see.
college. So it's like, you know, it's not a statement, but and
Yeah.
then yeah, eventually we didn't really plan on it, but eventually along the way we kind of decided that, hey, I think our messaging is about normalizing the conversation about sex, because it starts with a conversation. Remove the
Exactly.
taboos, remove
Yeah.
you know the
The negative
misconceptions.
connotations of it,
Yeah.
that actually is more harm than good if they just keep on
Yes,
putting those. And
for sure.
that's what drives me to also to your messages, a little way back recently din naman, when I saw it, it was all about sex positivity. It was all
Yeah.
understanding your sexuality and being
Uh-huh.
comfortable with it. And
Yeah.
in the Philippines, I understand then the plight of women
Mm.
who are often viewed as promiscuous and always be like, oh, side-eyed because being promiscuous
Right.
isn't so nice. But if you look at it, history and everything, you've got pop stars like being provocative ever since, just
Yes.
to normalize everything. And if you're gonna revert back to all those things, maybe we're gonna take the power from women to actually take control of their bodies. And that's,
True.
I guess, that messaging that you guys have for the Pechay Show is also really great, because sexual education is actually important. Talking
Very,
about
very.
how things can go wrong in sex, or things that can go well in sex for your pleasure. It brings healthy relationships to your life, and you could have hard
Yeah.
conversations. So those are
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, can you tell us about, like, where could we listen to your podcast, and what are we gonna wait out or look out for in the next episodes for your
Right.
podcast?
So currently we're on season break. We just finished the final episode of our season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3 is coming, I think third week of September. We're gonna update you guys about that. But you can
Oh,
listen to our previous episodes and catch up if you haven't yet. We're
yeah,
on
I guys
YouTube, we're
catch
on
up.
Facebook, we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, all of those. Actually, wherever you get your podcasts, we're probably there.
Yeah, okay. So guys, don't forget to follow and subscribe to their podcast, The
Yeah.
Pechay Show, and you learn a lot about yourself. And trust me, their conversations are fun. So, like, if you guys want to have some
Oh yeah,
little yes moments
super
when
light.
listening, yeah, enjoy listening to The Pechay Show. Okay. Oh, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. So I want to tell you guys why I chose Miss Shari of the Pechay Show to join us in this very special episode of Not Conforming, because, as you know,
Mhm.
she's a fan of Not Conforming, and
Oh
she's
yeah.
been very vocal about a lot of things that I find also very amazing. And it's really, really difficult to be vocal and assertive about who you are in these days, because a lot of people
Mm.
see your movements, they can judge
Yeah.
you and whatsoever. But
Mhm.
she's a perfect example of not fitting in. She's a perfect example of standing out and being her true brand and self, and which this podcast also adores and loves. So this is Love, Growth, and Freedom again, guys. So I'll start with a question of,
Okay.
can you describe yourself as being different, Miss Shari?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Mhm.
Well, different is a big word.
Yeah.
But growing up, I think even as a kid, like without the context of sexuality, even,
Mm-hmm.
I really felt different most of the time. And I thought that every kid felt that way. I mean, sure, everyone's unique, right? But
Yeah.
when I was young, I wasn't really a girly girl, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't I wasn't a tomboy either. So, um and for example, I have a sister and she's like playing with Barbie dolls and stuff, because that's what
Yeah.
girls are supposed to play. And I would be locked up in my room playing video games, you
Yeah.
know?
And
Yeah.
not the
And
stereotypical girly girly
yeah,
type. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, for sure my parents tried their best to
Mm-hmm.
kind of put me in that, what's expected of a girl.
Yeah.
And I did my part, but you you can tell when you're not comfortable with something.
And when you're not
And
happy doing
yeah,
something. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, with clothing and stuff. I was, oh my god, I was such I was such a tomboy.
All good,
Now
all
that I think
good.
about it, but also, for example, because we're a Catholic family, like most
Mm-hmm.
of us here, um, and we would go to church every Sunday
Yeah.
because we had to, right?
I
And
know we had to. You had
because
to
we
wake
had
up
to,
early, and you're like, but I don't understand the thing sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing is, when you're a kid, you can't really say no. You can't
Yeah.
really have another. I don't know. You can't say no. You just have to go with it. And
Yeah.
I remember whenever I was in church, I would be daydreaming and thinking of all different things that aren't there. And
Mm-hmm.
it's weird because um I think up until high school I thought that was what I was supposed to do and believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even active in the school choir.
Mm-hmm.
I read it during mass and stuff. But then, well, I guess that's youth for you. But when you grow up, you kind of realize you could believe whatever you want to believe, and nobody has any right to kind of impose anything on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I kind of carried that persona. I think it never really changed. Well, the things changed, like um besides clothing, besides going to church, everything else in life, we are expected to do some things because society dictates it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So I hate it. I hate those. I hate rules, really. I think that's why I I became a freelancer. I can't I can't do that.
Yeah, yeah, and it doesn't mean that when you don't fit in, you're not part of the
Mhm.
society, but you
Oh
belong
yeah.
in the society. But that's I guess a really strong message that whatever you do, um you'd still feel when you feel boxed, you'd feel uncomfortable and like limited. But now when you're out of your box, you feel like you can do anything you put your mind into. It's like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so with I mean, the idea, I know you said the word different is big, but I
Hmm.
always had a good notion with being different. I mean, it had bad notions at first, obviously,
Yeah.
based on my sexuality and being all that. But when growing up, being different feels amazing, actually. It feels like you've found your own sense of self and
Hmm.
sense of purpose if you feel like you're different. But obviously, I think in my perspective, I think most of people or most of the people find it like no one can truly understand us. Did you ever feel that way at a certain point that no one will get me, no one will understand what's going on with my life?
I think definitely for the first half, I guess, of my childhood, I went through all of elementary without. Well, I did have friends, kind
Yeah.
because just because they're classmates and stuff, but I never really found my people.
Yeah.
People who
Yeah.
understand you, have the same interests as you.
People
You
who
cringe
see
at the same
you,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
who
and then
gets you. Yeah.
yes, yes, and then high school came, right, and I met these people, and I was like, oh my god. I think freshman high school was the first time I realized that you can have fun in life. You're not just supposed to study and go home and follow your
Yeah.
parents. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sugarcoating it because it was definitely my rebel phase. But um, I had so much fun in high school. It was one of my favorite parts of my life. So, yeah, I think my support group to this day are my friends, which I met in high school. They're my closest friends to this day.
And having that good of a support system really helps in a lot of the struggling things that things that we
Mm.
struggle with. And that's wonderful. Okay. So another question of mine would be, so obviously you kind of had a little trouble with fitting in because you want to be out of the box and everything. How
Yeah.
did you deal with people telling you otherwise, people who are telling you to go in this direction and whatsoever? How did you deal with all those internally?
Well, I have a very strong personality, I think, despite what people see.
And I
Um,
love that. She keeps shining. I love that. I really do.
yeah. Even with my parents, I know we're not supposed to talk back and stuff, but if for me I'm right, I have to express that I'm right. And it's a problem sometimes. But yeah, even with, oh my God, with authority, I can't count the number of times I got into trouble in school because I talked back to a teacher, or I skipped class because I didn't think she was teaching me the right things, you weren't supposed to do that.
I,
I think I
we
think I
have so
had
much
this.
similarities in that. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, girl, I'm also like that. Like, if you're not teaching me well enough, I'd
Yeah.
probably not listen
Yeah.
to you or sleep because
Mhm.
this is a waste of my time or something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
I
Okay. Okay.
remember I remember I had this English teacher, and my friends know this, but no name dropping naman. I
Yeah.
had this English teacher, and I'm I'm kind of a grammar Nazi, if you can
Uh
say
huh.
that. Um, Much less toxic now, but before it was really my thing, and I was cringy at every lesson because she was mispronouncing words, and you know, and I thought to myself, even if I don't attend this class, I'm not gonna lose out on anything. So
Yeah.
I would cut class as a teenager and spend the entire time for that class in the music room because I was into music then that time.
Yeah.
So then I got out because I was in the top 10, and because of those things, naalis ako sa top 10. But I
I
don't care.
see. Did you get caught doing that?
Ah, I can't really remember, but I think everyone knew anyway. I wasn't really hiding.
Yeah, but they still knew. Okay, yeah, was it? You weren't
Yeah,
really like, "Ah, I didn't bother hiding." All
yeah,
right. Okay, that's wonderful. So we all like so we it's clear now that you don't believe in fitting in and all of those
yeah.
things. What about? Can you tell me about situations that helped you in embracing your charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent? Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
So what are
I
the
don't think.
situations like your milestones? If I could just,
Mhm.
the moments that you realize that okay, being different is great. I'm gonna stand in my superhero pose and be amazing with all these things. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing, but it happened later in life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I was afforded the freedom of not being in school anymore. Because, you didn't risk anything, for real. Like, you can do
Yeah.
whatever you want, and your parents won't care. your
Yeah.
your teachers or your whatever, it doesn't matter. So when I started working, I really I really got out there, man. Like, I really did my thing, and I was like, this is fun. This is this is this is who I am for real. So I guess that's it. It was in my, I think, my early 20s to my, well, actually, to this point, I think it's a journey, pa rin. And
Yeah.
I get I guess I think it was 2014. I joined a spoken word group, um, and it kind of unleashed all of this, I don't know, personality in me, and I would
Oh
just
my
get up and say whatever.
god.
Yeah.
I love it. You also do spoken word. Okay, now I'm gonna request a little. Do you have any poetry
Oh
that
my
you have
God. No, no,
that you
no.
want
I
to
don't
share
have
with us?
anything. I don't
Just
have anything.
just a line or anything about well okay, so what was it? Tell me, since I like poems, I really do. I also do spoken word. This is so wonderful. Could you
Yeah,
tell
it's
me
been so
like
long.
a moment of
Right.
like what you felt when you performed your first
My first piece
and
for
why you
sure.
performed and like what you wrote, like what it meant for
Right.
you. I want to all know that part of you.
Um, it was kind of the universe conspiring, I think, because I was just in a random bar, and
Mm-hmm.
then I didn't know about. Oh no, no! I think I was Intramuros. There was this event called Intramuros Rising, if you're familiar.
No,
And
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Di
it's
ba
it's
ako
kind of
maganda?
short-lived. Medyo short-lived siya.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in Intramuros, and it's like this aggregation of cultural things, all things Filipino. And there were performers, there were artists. It's just so much fun. And then um we just went there on a whim, and it
Yeah.
happened that there was a stage and these spoken word artists were performing, and I was so captivated by it because it felt so freeing doing what they did.
Yeah.
So I didn't approach them because I was a bit shy, but I followed them on social media, and then I saw where they were gonna be next. So I went to that. So I was there. I was drinking. I was soaking all of this culture in, and as you do in bars, you talk to people, and I talked to
Yeah.
these artists, and we got along, and we became friends. Tapos it didn't take a long time. Na they asked me to do something because it was open mic anyway, so everyone's kind of invited.
And what
So
what what company is what group is this?
it's Words Anonymous.
Where it's anonymous. I haven't. Oh my goodness, I haven't heard them yet, ata. But that's nice. Okay, I'll look them up. My turn to look them up
Okay.
after. Okay, then go. And then you got a few
Uh,
drinks, and they wanted you to
yeah.
do something since an open
Mhm.
mic.
And then it became a regular thing. I got invited if they had a regular day of the week, and I was always there. So that's kind of it. Everything was history.
What was your first piece about? The
Oh, my first
performed about?
piece. Oh my god, I couldn't remember, but it was either about sex or about weed. It's one
Oh,
of those two
see,
because those
on
are my
brand.
passions all the time.
Sex. All right, all right.
Always on brand. Yeah.
Oh, there's my that's wonderful. Yeah, that's it's just so relieving to actually, get to know you in this part, especially like knowing that you like into poetry. Because I was also, and I understand the feeling of knowing how freeing it is to actually perform a piece that you made,
Yeah.
because that's like all your emotions and heart
Yeah.
and soul
Yeah.
is put into those words
Mm.
that you get to say into a lot. Ah,
Right.
wonderful, wonderful. I am
Amazing.
so glad that we had to have this time. I guess the universe has also conspired to actually have you
Yeah.
over here and speak up
Awesome.
for all of us. So with all of that, could you do you have a message for people who are feeling like they don't fit in? Message and advice, something that they could heed to as
Right.
before we end all of this.
Um, I'm not really big on advice, but I just want them to know that they're not alone for sure feeling
Mhm.
those feelings. And it could be very uncomfortable to be bound by certain rules and expectations, either from your family or from your work or from society in general. But they just have to hang on. And at some point, there will be this, I don't know what to call it, like an event in their life where they're just gonna break free, and it's gonna be worth it. I promise. I don't know. I think it won't come at the same time for everyone, but because at the end of the day, you should just really stop thinking about what others think of you.
Yeah.
That's really stressful, and it's not the best feeling to have and to think about. So, I know it's hard to be selfish because we're taught to be, considerate of other people.
Yeah.
We always have to think, will this offend that person? What will my parents think of me? What will my boss say?
Mm-hmm.
But, as long as you're not hurting anyone and it's kind of within the reasonable limitations of humanity, then just go for it, I think. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all we really want is happiness.
Yeah. And then I completely agree with all that it's not offensive to the humanity, and as long as it's
Yeah.
good in the limitations of
Yes.
humanity. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, I guess if everybody had the guts to actually be kinder, be selfish for a little while and take care of
Yeah.
themselves, we would live in a very kind world, I guess. You would
Oh
live in a
my
world
god.
that
Yes.
understands suffering, that understands that everybody goes through a lot of things.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for this wonderful, wonderful time with you, and it's really great. I really thank the universe for this. I am sure my our listeners would have a good key takeaway from all of this, especially you know we're not meant to fit in. We are all supposed to stand out, and
Yes.
let's all stand out together. With all that, you can say your goodbyes to everybody. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. And thank you again, Shari, for going on and with me here on Love, Growth, and Freedom. So say your goodbyes, and you could, keep reminding them of listening to your show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you because your show, I think, is one of the best out there right now. And when I remember, I can't ever forget our first interaction. You posted in one of our groups, and then I saw it's about, I think it was pride related, and I was, oh my god, there's someone else doing this,
I
and I
think
was
it
like,
was
those lovely.
bisexual. Yeah, it
I
was
can't
I think the
remember,
bisexual episode. Yeah.
I think that's how we connected first, and your podcast kind of stuck to my brain. So yeah,
Aw.
ayan. Pero I want to thank you. This was a great thing to be part of, and um thank you then to your listeners, and I hope they got something out of this, kahit
I'm
konti
sure
lang.
they would. I'm sure they would.
Yeah, just 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 keep being happy. That's it,
All
and check
right.
us out
Yeah, guys, don't forget to check out the Pechay Show and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you actually want to stream some podcasts, you can check them
everywhere.
out. So again, guys, goodbye and thank you, lovey.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now.
So guys, welcome back. Thank you guys for listening to this wonderful episode with Miss Shari. I have enjoyed sharing our thoughts of how being different is not so bad, how being different is one of the best things that we've chosen, and choosing your own path, being your own star, being your own director of your own story is one of the most fulfilling things that you could ever imagine and feel. So thank you for dropping by and listening. So before we end all this podcast in this episode, I would love to leave you with a few of my notes that comes along with this idea of being different, being someone who does not fit in. Because as someone of the LGBTQIA community, a minority, I've lived a life of not fitting in, and it made me feel so outcasted sometimes that I feel like I just want to be normal like everybody else. But as I grew up, as I figured out that life is just more than just following the world and the society and how it just goes, and finding your own voice and your passion and things is so much better and so much freeing and so much so expressive. I think the community, I think people who fought for us, I think everybody who's given me a platform to speak my mind, and like this podcast has been amazing in helping me speak out and do that. So I want to end on this note. I am a fan of Grey's Anatomy, and there's this line where Dr. Christina Yang said to Meredith, who told her that do not let what he wants eclipse what you need. He is very dreamy, but he's not the sun. You are. And this resonates with me a lot because we always let the society, the world, and anyone actually to dictate what we want or to overshadow what we want because of what they need and what they want as well. And yeah, don't that message is for all of us, I guess, is that you don't let what the world tells you to be or what the world wants you and needs you to be to take away what you want to be. You are the sun. You are what makes this life of yours bright enough to live and to lead. So if you choose to be someone who you want to be and who you're meant to be, I guess that's the best thing that you could do for yourself rather than just succumbing to what the world wants you to be and what the world dictates you to be. So empower yourself, find your path. Again, as long as it's in the limitations of human life and in respect with human life and everything, it's all good. And yeah, so let's not let the perception and the wants of this world devour us and what we stand for. We are the sun. Each and every one of us carries a light of hope. Let it shine bright. Shine brightly, everybody. I would like to thank everyone again who dropped by to listen to this podcast. You can follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, GorillaPodcast.com, GorillaPodcastSyndicate.com.ph. And again, before you go, you can check out Lazada if you guys want to buy some stuff, if you're planning to, shop for clothes and so many more, and skincare just like me. I have Oxycure up there in the description box. episode description box. You can check it out, click the link below, and you can just, purchase one if you want to. So, thank you so much for dropping by. Again, you are the sun. So, let us shine brightly together. I'll see you again soon. Bye, lovies, and I'll see you on my next
If you
episode.
enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerrillapodcast.com.au or guerrillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.